The Ride With Me event is an initiative by GPCOG to enable decision makers to experience transportation challenges that our members of the public face on public transportation.
The idea of this event came from a community member whose husband has a physical disability. She has suggested as a great way for decision makers to hear from community members about their barriers and needs was for them to actually ride the transit system together and hear from them about the barriers that they face.
I'm here with Bill. We took the ride together. Bill is a longtime transit rider. So this was my first time to actually ride the transit system.
I was glad to share. Sometimes it's difficult to coordinate, and some suggestions to how the Biddeford-Saco Orchard Beach line can better coordinate with the other bus systems to be able for riders to get information online and track the buses at real-time tracking of the buses versus when their schedule is.
So I had the opportunity to ride with Karen Perry. It was her first time riding on the Downeaster service, and so I think some of her initial concerns were with the technology and how to actually obtain a ticket. And I think that as the day went on and as she arrived at the station and saw that there was ample space for people with mobility devices to sit and to wait, as well as the ease of boarding the train and then the handicap accessible space, that her real challenge that day actually didn't become the train, but became the technology to get to the train and the first and last mile connection. Some of the things that she expressed as concerns was, walking on a moving train to go to the cafe car. So we're trying to pilot a program where the cafe attendant can come and do at-seat service. So we're taking what we learned that day and trying to put it into practice to make the experience better for users.
I wanted to experience what the daily ridership is for someone who is very dependent on using the bus system.
We were able to see some of the issues that happen on the road, like some bus stops are hidden. We can't really see them in terms of weather. So I think there's a lot of experience that she was able to share with me.
If you don't know how to use the bus, you don't know to pull the cord when you want to stop. And the signs are very small for that, and they're also in English. So perhaps having another language, having the sign in another language, or even a picture that shows what that means to pull the cord and that the sign is bigger. Because right now you really have to be looking for the sign to even find it.
Some of the concerns shared by community members were the lack of bus shelters, inaccessible bus stops, and the difficulty navigating uneven sidewalks for people who use a walker, a cane, or a wheelchair.
During one of the paired rides, a rider came up with the idea of having transit riders have a conversation with bus operators to talk about how they can help each other. Now, different bus riders are attending Metro's bus operators training to share their transportation barriers with bus operators so that they can help each other.
I was introduced to Sadie through GPCOG, through the Ride With Me event. I'd say the walk itself was probably a 25-minute walk for her, but for me as someone who works for the town, it was eye-opening to see all of the different challenges that she faces on this route that I'm fairly familiar with, but walking with her to go through the route, you see where we do and don't have sidewalks, where we're experiencing cars parking where they're not supposed to, and just some of the smaller things that you wouldn't notice unless you were walking with someone who's blind. I'm learning so much about the subtleties of a walking route. I'm usually just caught in my head thinking about something.
Well, walk along the sidewalk and close your eyes and see how long it takes you to fall off.
Won't take long.
I mean, the thing about blindness and any disability is it's about perspective, and 99% is awareness. You wouldn't know this unless I told you. There it is, good boy. Well, good boy. There's a good boy. So when we go through something that's a little bit tougher, we give lots of love because you do a good job. Left. The button should be right here, where this thing is, right? Because that's the corner, okay? Now the buttons are not on the corner. So when you're trying when you're trying to cross the street, you want the button to be where you're gonna be standing. If I go back and I stand on that curb and a big truck comes by like it did, a big dump truck, there is no way on earth I'm gonna hear this.
Yeah.
Over there.
What impressed me the most about Sadie and just the program was she came prepared to highlight certain aspects of her walk that I don't think I ever would have noticed. So there could be like a slight grade difference for her to walk across the street that to me just looks perfectly normal. But for her and for her guide dog, that's something that they need to be aware of.
Good boy. Yep, I know. You gotta find the way. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, that was a little awkward. You cut that corner a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. Nerd. Yeah, you did.